Some of the Sigil Improvements, boosts being nerfed. Wow, lots of things to talk about in this edition, your Monday edition of the MCN. So we're going to kick off the show with a little bit of, live stream feedback. There seems to be a lot of people very annoyed with Kabam. Look, at the end of the day, anybody can put out anything anywhere and there will always be somebody that'll be unhappy with what you're doing. That'll be in my comments, I've seen it plenty of times. Anytime a film comes out, people aren't happy with the direction of a film going. It is what it is. Welcome to life. Be thankful you can actually express an opinion nowadays. But there are some very logical points in this stream feedback. In particular, the way that the giveaway is done. That is something I think Kabam need to ultimately improve on with the new system. I know Kabam are doing it to stop this exclamation mark spamming. It's still happening. So whether or not Kabam could ban some kind of like prompter by using the exclamation mark, I don't know. That is something that they'll have to explore within the mod systems of Twitch and the live streaming. At the end of the day, when it comes to these live streams, I don't think Kabam are ever going to get it right by the player base. Some people will like the extra bit of dialogue between Dave and Mike because it's friendly and fun. The same magic that was with Jax and also Kabam Mike back in the day. There's also the interesting things around the Ares like build and create, like how it was created. I get that. I think that was good, but there's lost on a lot of people that don't really like the extra detail to things. So as much as some people like one thing, they'll also dislike something as well. Pleasing people on the internet and in general is so very difficult to do. So what do Kabam have to say in response to a lot of this stuff? Appreciate the feedback and understand the concerns around privacy. I think it's a valid one. We tried to limit the information needed, including mentioning not entering your actual name as part of the slide explaining things. Ultimately, we will need an email, some way to contact you, but an email and username should be all we need. Gleam does not, that's the site by the way, does ask for access to work. We've tried to limit that to bare minimum. Ultimately, the old system led to chat being unusable, and that was one of the main bits of feedback we got from previous streams. And again, that's the problem, isn't it? Like, everybody has a ton of ideas. It's Kabam, and like in a business sense, if you go to your workplace and say, I've got a great idea, but then someone says, no, that's not a great idea, another one says yes, and another one says no, then you've got a balanced opinion of what is right and what is the direction you're going in. So you've got to be very careful as to, well, am I going to please people or piss people off? And that's such a fine balance, isn't it? That there was no interaction with chat. We wanted to fix that, and to do so, we needed the chat to be more legible, open to alternative suggestions, working improving because we blah 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 blah. Right. I think in future we need to see more of a chat engagement because it's improved a little bit in the stream on Friday because people were asking questions and there was answers being given. I think we definitely need more of that, but it's, again, trying to fight through the treacle of the spam bots of the exclamation mark, which becomes problematic. This is why at times there's not that much in the way of important information that chat's asking because like they're legitimately concerned about getting addressed. Kabam as well set a goal as to how they're going to do the stream, where they do have like a budget of like 1 hour to do. If that's something that could be increased, that would be great, but it's just finding, again, an improvement to this constant exclamation mark spamming, which, as we know, is a bit of a problem at the moment, and making sure that, just making sure that there's enough time to answer everybody's questions, because people, of course, have questions. Also, it was a bit disappointing to see that some people's giveaway entries didn't work, and therefore, like, is the site that they're using now, is again, just goes to a, well, they've got to try and make it work, it might not work, it's, yeah, problematic. Does the page crash? Yes, that seems to be the case. Either way, hopefully Kabam gets some improvements in place. Now we're going to talk about the special power boost, something that I kind of alluded to because we get these kind of Kabam CCP release notes early on, but we don't get full like specifics. There were some specifics, of course, with how the reworked power back boosts would work and how, you know, you generate power in certain modes, Alliance War, the quests, and even like very much endgame quests. The state of these is that it does feel like a really painful nerf to players. I know that there's a lot of people, you can see here, unknown content has been removed. This is because I think people said something a bit inappropriate towards Kabam. Is it warranted? You have your own right to be angry about anything, but it's depending on how hard you go into saying and talking about the way that you explain yourselves. Of course, for different bosses, this is going to mean a real pain. No, I wouldn't say real pain point, but that annoying players of this game find good strategy. And whenever a time they find good strategy, they have to think to themselves, is this something down the line Kabam are going to nerf because they think it's a bit too OP? And if it is overpowered or not, that is of course down to your own level of thinking. As we said here, like, why do they have to nerf everything? Most bosses now have some form of damage reduction node or inbuilt protection in their kit. Besides, they're not usable in Everest content either, so the only place either story or alliance wars. Why do they have to do this? Of course, I did mention that I've used those boosts for the Grandmaster. I struggled with like a phase part of the Grandmaster, and I felt like I really needed something to establish myself stronger. So like the Grandmaster is like a bit in one of the phases where you got to do an SP3, and I always find it difficult to kind of get to there quickly. So I felt like it was without being smacked by, you know, maybe I'm thinking of a different boss. But it's definitely on Orochi recently, and I think that that's one of the reasons for it. You know, bosses like Orochi, who could be cheesed by a variety of champions with power back boosts. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just like, why? Like, I just don't get sometimes. Yeah, a lot of the time, I keep seeing it coming back to the same question with Kabam is like, why? And I know the answer will be, oh, this is for the betterment of the game. You know, the fairness of the game. What about what's fair to the player? And that's something like, I kind of feel, why? And for a lot of people that maybe don't use those boosts, I mean, this is a relevant point. Rarely used power boosts, but come on, they weren't game breaking. And that's, I mean, Hercules, of course, has had his kind of game breaking moment. But then you look at the fact that like you can't use him against Ares is quite funny. But then that's weird, isn't it? Because Kabam said a long time ago, well, we can't make endgame content to a certain degree because of champions like Hercules. Although it hasn't stopped them making content where Hercules isn't being used. So it's kind of like, it's hypocritical to kind of like to say that. I've also got to think back to when I played against Orochi and who I used. Like, was it a case of using Magneto? I think I did use Magneto, but I think I preferred using Lady Deathstrike. I found that she was a bit more either, I think, fun, if anything. There's a bit of a different play as to like how you play with Magneto, and a very kind of like, not wooden, but it's a very specific way. With Lady Deathstrike, it's more, it's like, it feels like different. It's a bit more athletic, as opposed to just going with the build that you kind of do. Either way, I've got to do Orochi 2 more times, but I've been more focused in other content, especially focusing my attention on getting tier 7 basics. And of course, next month we'll be focused on trying to get the Epic of Pain done or worked through. So time's changing, isn't it? This is likely to be an issue for a lot of top tier Alliance War players, but is this going to affect you a lot more? Your thoughts in the comments. But yeah, not great from Kabam, but unfortunately we're going to have to deal with it. Okay, you might have missed this, but the Summoner Sigil it's got a response to it and is being not reworked, but some additions or re-editions are coming back to the store. Kabam Crash said your thoughts were shared with the Sigil team, and based on there's a Sigil team. Anyway, and based on the feedback, they have some changes they are planning to make. Some details will be shared soon, either on the live stream tomorrow morning or here next week. So I think this actually was something that went out. Hey, by the way, I saw like this is a print screen of me here about do you remember when they gave out the Summoner Sigil for free? And there was part of like an arena you could go and get a Summoner Sigil, but you had to kind of like, I think, do a rank of some description. So that was cool. It's also weird to see like my thing here from like, what was it, like nearly 3 years ago. This is coming 3 years ago. God, yeah, still got that hoodie. I need to get a lot more new hoodies and things like that. Anyway, the additions and changes that come into the Summoner Sigil can be seen on screen. We'll get the arrow in just to kind of point out you in the direction. The 2.0, of course, is available now. 1 Sigil Potion and 1 Alliance War Champion boost and 1 Champion boost to the week. I assume that's to do with, yeah, Alliance War Champion boost and Standard Champion boost weekly bundles for all progressions, because I know people were asking about those well, 2 of those things exclusively. Not sure about the Sigil potion, but at least that adds a bit more to it. Unfortunately, if you've spent a lot of your Sigil credits, then that, of course, is a problem. Not for me, I don't spend, so it's not really something that concerns me. But it's good to see return of the 5 and 6 star feature crystals in a trade-in discount for the Black Ice market, and early adopters to receive a package. I don't know what that package is. It might be something like all of the above as a kind of like compensation package for those that got involved with getting the Summoner Sigil right now. If you were on the fence about getting it because those favorite things have been removed, it may be a time to come back and have it, or it's up to you. I'm not encouraging you to spend. You can do it if you want. You're a grown adult, and yeah, what am I saying? Okay, what about Twitch drops? Okay, Twitch drops are something that are becoming a bit of a frustration for players. If you weren't around for those live streams, then that was not great. Something that I did say in the video that I put out on Friday is I really wish Kabam could find a way to allow them to open up the Marvel Contest of Champions streaming, because like Marvel Rivals does this in other games as well. You can have a length of time. Marvel Contest of Champions participating Twitch channels are able to allow you to watch further. Here's a good example. If Kabam said until the 1st of February, you can watch the likes of, you know, Pepe was live streaming, Lefty Knox we talked about. There's loads of different people that live stream Marvel Contest of Champions on Twitch. If you were able to drop into a live stream and watch that after the Kabam live stream, then you'd be able to pick up your stuff rather than feeling subjected to go, I must be there on time, and I must watch for 45 minutes, which isn't nice, is it? A bit of a quick good news to the future is that Kabam have said that, and if I can find it in time, the VOD will be available on Twitch and YouTube as normal for sure. Good, but we know that. Unfortunately, with the way Twitch drops works, this will not count towards drops progress. Like I said, we're looking into some options to help there. So that is going to be good for the future, but of course that is you know, for the future. That's not for now, so you might be missing out on things. How these things are claimed, like I follow like Twitch stuff, so there's you know, there's the inventory. When you go into the inventory, you can go and grab, because there's all active. You can see all the campaigns active. You then go down to the relevant areas. Like I did the Marvel Rivals ones in the past. You can see all the Marvel Rival ones I've collected, and including some of the MCOC ones in the last like few months, which is there. And of course, you can see in the last few hours what I've picked up: reunion crystals, revives, energy refills, which is nice. But it would be nice, as we said, to have something where you can continue watching, say, Pepe, Lefty Knox, whoever is on, and still get them, as it's part of a participating Marvel Contest of Champions type of, you know, event that's kicking off. But it's not really the case. I know some people have struggled with trying to claim the rewards, or they've had the issue of, because of not being able to watch the full amount of the live stream, that it becomes a problem with it. I don't know if it would be advantageous if Kabam haven't got it right the next time they do a live stream and there is Twitch drops, is that you have it on your device. You kind of look up and kind of like synchronize it with your device, and then what you do is you I don't know if you're at work or whatever, that you kind of like just play it, or have an alarm set. And it's not ideal. I do agree it needs to change and improve. Yeah, okay, promo codes would be nice to kind of go back to, but they were being leaked left, right, and center, and you know, that's of course not very great, not very good from Kabam's sake. But maybe they should try it again, see if it's better nowadays. Also a good point about traffic. Like sending a lot of traffic to the web store can be good, because then people might want to buy something at the same time, so that could be good for Kabam. But at the same time, could it crash the site? And that's another real thing that's got to be considered, is how do Kabam deal with a site crash, especially if you're going en masse to that website and it crashing? Because then again, like, are they actually making any money? If you do a purchase whilst there and the site's crashed, you might have lost your money and not gained your item. So there's so many variables to consider when doing this. Definitely a lot of things for Kabam to do. Like even like my new job that I'm starting tomorrow, I'm thinking about like ideas for things that could improve and add value, but then also I'm thinking about risk assessing it. And I think that's something that Kabam need to do more so, is go, hey, we'll do this, but at the same time look at the other variables, not gung-ho and go right into it and go, this is how it's done. Like, just take a moment to chill, look at all the avenues, and also the stakeholders, the impact on the stakeholders. And that can be various, like the people that access promo codes freely, the people that have accessed Twitch drops and aren't able to do it, the restrictions on people coming out to the live stream. Like, do those assessments, make sure it works for the community. And then guess what? Things actually work. But you know, that's on command to sort it out for the next month and see if they can actually do it. God willing, God be with them. In any case, thank you very much for watching and have a lovely day. That's been the MCN for Monday.